I want to read you something. Leadership is not about titles, positions, or flowcharts. It is about one life influencing another. Now I want you to stop and sit with that for a second. Because if that's true, and I believe it is, then most of what we've been taught about leadership is completely wrong. Today I'm breaking down the 3 most dangerous leadership truths Myles Munroe ever taught. Dangerous because once you hear them, you can't unhear them, and they will hold a mirror up to everything you're doing or not doing as a leader. Stay with me till the end, because truth number 3 is the one that actually changes behavior.
Let's start with the one that gets people angry. Myles Munroe didn't just say leadership isn't about titles. He said that believing it is about titles is how people abuse their position. He had a famous principle. When the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. And here's how that applies to leadership. When people think leadership is about power, they abuse the people under them. When they think it's about status, they protect their position instead of developing others. When they think it's about control, they micromanage instead of mentor. Here's a question I want you to answer honestly in your head. Do the people around you feel more capable because of your leadership? Or do they feel smaller? Because real influence, the Myles Munroe kind, leaves people bigger than it found them. A title can get people to obey you, but influence gets people to believe in themselves. Those are 2 completely different things, and only one of them actually matters. Here's where it gets uncomfortable for a lot of us. Myles Munroe said, "The greatest act of leadership is mentorship. Not strategy, not vision, not charisma, mentorship. And mentorship isn't about having all the answers. It's about showing up consistently for someone else's growth." Think about the most transformative leader in your own life. I'll bet it wasn't someone with an impressive title. It was someone who saw something in you before you saw it yourself. Someone who gave you their time when they didn't have to. Someone whose belief in you became the permission you needed to take a risk. That's mentorship. And here's the brutal truth. Most of us are so busy climbing that we've forgotten to reach back. We post about success. We celebrate our wins. But who are we actively developing? Who is better today because we chose to invest our time in them? Myles Munroe also said this. True leaders don't invest in buildings. Jesus never built a building. They invest in people. You know what that means practically? Stop hiding behind busyness. Stop saying you'll mentor someone when you have more time. You already have what the greatest leader in history had: access to people. The question is, are you using it? Okay, this is the one I promised you, and I need you to really hear it. Myles Munroe once said something about death and legacy that reframes everything. He said the wealthiest place on earth is the cemetery, because it's full of potential that was never used, ideas that were never launched, influence that was never given, and leadership, real leadership, is how you make sure that doesn't happen to the people around you. Here's the legacy question I want you to ask yourself. If you disappeared tomorrow, what would stop? Would projects collapse because only you knew how to do them? Would people feel lost because you never transferred your knowledge? Would your team shrink without you instead of grow? If the answer is yes, you haven't been leading. You've been performing. A true leader, a Myles Munroe leader, builds people who can eventually outperform them. That's not a threat to your position. That's the point. He said it this way. The greatest act of leadership is mentorship. Not because mentorship is kind, but because it's the only thing that makes your influence outlast your presence. Your title dies when you leave the room. Your influence lives in the people you poured into. So let me bring this home with 3 direct challenges. 1. Stop leading with your title. Start leading with your presence. Ask someone on your team today, what do you need to grow? And actually listen. 2. Identify one person in your life right now that you can mentor. Not perfectly, not with a 10-step program, just consistently. Show up for their growth. 3. Ask the legacy question every 90 days. If I disappeared tomorrow, what would stop? Then work backwards from that answer. Myles Munroe didn't just teach leadership, he modeled it. He poured into thousands of people on 6 continents until the day his life ended unexpectedly in 2014. And yet his influence? It's still changing lives right now, including yours, in this video. That's the goal. Not a big title, not a big building, a big impact in the lives of real people. If this hit you, do 3 things. Like this video. It tells YouTube to push this to more people who need it. Comment below, which of the 3 truths hit you hardest? And subscribe, because every week I bring you content like this that actually challenges you to grow. The cemetery is getting full enough. Let's make sure you leave everything you've got here, in this life. I'll see you in the next one.